Hello Tigers, and welcome to the TMNtv newscast for Wednesday, October 16, 2019. Stay tuned for the latest news at Fort Hays State University and around Northwest Kansas and the nation. I am Lauren Davis, and Jenna Hawley will be here shortly with a look at what's going on around the globe. And Haley White will fill you in on what's happening in the sports world. But first, here's what's making news in Tigerland. Homecoming weekend proved to be the perfect opportunity to showcase the newest building on the FHSU campus. On Friday, the university showed off the Art and Design building to the community. Hundreds of students and community members attended the event.
This beautiful structure of glass and steel and wood was crafted intentionally to inspire collaboration.
TMN reporter Elizabeth Anderson says the $14.25 million building was scheduled for completion in June of this year. The new space will be utilized by the art department, and the former power plant next door will be converted into a gallery. Ceramics, graphic design, printing, design, photography, interior design, painting, printmaking, and drawing areas have been programmed into the modern state-of-the-art building. The building was designed by Gould Evans Associates in Lawrence and built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction of Hays.
It's been really wonderful to be new faculty here at Fort Hays State University. I love being in this new building and having wonderful facilities, especially for photography, where it's not only about having a state-of-the-art digital output lab, but also having darkroom facilities to do analog process, specifically silver gelatin.
The weather to start Oktoberfest might have been chilly and windy, but that didn't stop numerous FHSU organizations from hosting booths at the annual event Friday. FHSU students and staff banded together to sell shirts, food, koozies, and a lot of Tiger gear during the two-day event, according to the TMN reporter Cora Tissette. Organizations use the revenue generated from sales to serve as a fundraiser for upcoming trips or to purchase items needed for their club. Student organizations have operated booths at the event for several years, and it also gives them an opportunity to educate the crowdgoers about what their group does. The crowning of the King and Queen at halftime of Saturday night's football game was a memorable one for two FHSU students. Jackie Doherty and Bryson Hammond were voted Queen and King for 2019. Doherty is a senior majoring in organizational leadership. She was representing the Student Government Association. Hammond is a junior majoring in art and was representing the Sigma Chi fraternity on campus. On Tuesday, a press conference at the Press highlighted upcoming events and partnerships regarding the Center for Life experience in Hays. The main point of the morning was how all of the outreach programs and events that will take place are all thanks to local philanthropist John Thorne, who was a part of and helped start CFLE. However, Thorne died in July 2014. He was an artist, an FHSU professor, and an active member of First Presbyterian Church in Hays. The press conference was to honor Thorne with the announcement of the inaugural John C. Thorne Jr. Annual Memorial Lecture Series. To learn more about this series, read Carter Popejoy's story at tigermedianet.com. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone was less afraid of police officers? According to Hays Post, people and their children are becoming closer with cops through the Adopt a Cop program. Adopt a Cop is a program where each school in Hays is assigned a cop who greets children and holds door for them in the morning. The program has made for a better relationship between parents and their kids, with officers in town making them feel safer when cops are around. FHSU students now have a closer venue to help support the country. The Kansas National Guard opened an office on the FHSU campus recently. TMN reporter Micah Reinke has this report.
On Tuesday, October 8th, the Army National Guard held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to commemorate their new office located in Fort Hays State University's Memorial Union. Army National Guard Major General Taffanelli provided insightful words about the future that the Guard has on the FHSU campus, as well as the Hays community.
When you look at what we can do locally in our communities, when we partner with our institutions of higher education, it makes the Kansas National Guard better, it makes those institutions better, and more importantly, it gives back to the communities that we all come from and makes our state better.
Kansas Board of Regents Alan Schmidt expressed his gratitude for the new opportunity with a few meaningful words.
This is the beginning of it, folks. This is the beginning where people sign up and say, I want to be a member of with that great service. Whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, it doesn't matter. It's service to America.
FHSU President Tisa Mason was excited to welcome them onto campus.
Today we are very proud to officially welcome the Kansas Army National Guard to our campus community.
1, 2, 3.
Reporting for Tiger Media Network, I'm Micah Ranke.
When we return from this short break, Jenna will be here with news from around the globe.
My name is Allie and I'm a senior business major at Fort Hays. I love working for TMN. It has made me a more experienced photographer and really helped me professionally due to all the changing environments and the different opportunities. I've also been able to meet and talk to a lot of people, which has helped bring me on my show.
Hello Tigers, I'm Jenna Hawley and here's what's happening around the globe. A 4.5 earthquake hit California's Bay Area and surrounding counties Monday night. Moderate shaking was felt in 3 areas east of San Francisco. Weak shaking was also reported in San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. According to Fox News, the quake had a preliminary depth of approximately 9 miles underneath the surface, with the National Weather Service saying there is no tsunami threat expected. Officials said there was no reports of injury or damage. Before the death of a woman in her own home Saturday, the Fort Worth Police Department had already been under heavy scrutiny. In December 2016, Jacqueline Craig had called the police to alert them of someone grabbing and choking her son. Craig and the officer argued, which resulted in her and her daughter being arrested while her younger daughter was taken into custody. Residents of the area have demanded accountability, and officials created a task force to address race and cultural equity. According to CNN, the Fort Worth Task Force on Race and Culture unveiled 22 recommendations in areas such as housing, education, and criminal justice. City officials said they have been forward with these recommendations when Officer Aaron Dean shot Atinia Jefferson in her home. Dean was arrested on a murder charge Monday, according to police. He was briefly held at the Tarrant County Jail before posting a $200,000 bond. The mother of a 10-year-old boy has been sentenced to 6 years in prison after confessing to subjecting the child to a series of unnecessary medical procedures and surgeries. Kaylin Bowen Wright was given the sentence Friday following her mid-August plea to recklessly causing injury to a child. Investigators say she subjected her son to more than 320 hospital visits and 13 surgeries during the first 8 years of his life. According to Fox News, Child Protective Services removed the boy from her care in 2017 after it was alerted by a hospital in Dallas that medical staff determined the boy didn't have cancer or many of the symptoms his mother claimed he had. The boy now lives with his father. The president of Turkey abruptly reversed course Wednesday and said he will meet with Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo after refusing to do so. Pence and Pompeo are scheduled to meet with the leader of Turkey and talk with him about declaring a ceasefire in northeast Syria. The Turkish leader had rejected President Donald Trump's phone call request to halt military operations in northeast Syria. Turkey's president told reporters Tuesday, "They say declare a ceasefire. We will never declare a ceasefire." According to USA Today, in an address to Turkey's parliament on Wednesday, he said Turkey's military offense would end if Syrian Kurdish fighters left a border area in northeast Syria. The Trump administration is struggling to contain the escalating domestic and international fallout from the president's decision to withdraw U.S. forces from Syria. The move allowed for Turkey's assault on Syrian Kurdish fighters who they view as terrorists. The Prime Minister of Japan warned on Tuesday of a prolonged impact from one of the country's most destructive typhoons in decades. The typhoon brought record-breaking rainfall and caused extensive flooding and power outages. The government approved a special budget for disaster response. In a parliamentary session, the Prime Minister said rescue efforts from the storm that hit central Japan during the weekend were continuing around the clock. According to NPR, the country's infrastructure ministry said embankment collapses affected 47 rivers and 66 locations have been confirmed as of Tuesday. Approximately 34,000 homes were without electricity and 110,000 people were still in shelters as of late Monday. Japanese media outlets are reporting different death tolls, with Kyodo News saying at least 14 people are still missing. China has planned to take countermeasures against the United States in response to a bill that favors the protests in Hong Kong. On Tuesday, the House of Representatives in Washington passed the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. The bill requests that various government departments consider whether or not recent political developments in Hong Kong require the U.S. to change the region's special trading status. According to a Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, if the relevant bill is finally passed into law, not only will it hurt Chinese interests and China-U.S. relations, but also seriously damage U.S. interests. Any legislation would need the Senate's approval before becoming a law. According to CNBC, the Hong Kong government said in a statement it expressed regret over the U.S. congressional actions and that foreign legislators should not interfere in the region's own affairs. Protests in Hong Kong began in June and have continued the last several months, with demonstrations going from peaceful to increasingly violent. That's what is happening in the news world this week. Stay tuned for a sports update with Haley White when we return.
Tiger Media Network is the independent student media organization here at Fort Hays State University. It encompasses audio, video, print, photography, digital news. There's a little bit of everything at TMN.
They offer so many different events, opportunities, so many different things to go out and do and learn so that you can make a more compelling story and just help develop you as a storyteller.
I toured this facility and I saw this radio station and then the TV studio, and I was like, yeah, this is something that I definitely need to be a part of. Here, you know, I was instantly able to make my own content, being able to broadcast my own shows.
If you have a passion about sports or about news, it doesn't matter. You can come here and you can work from day one and get that experience that demonstrates your ability to be a professional in the media industry.
Hello Tigers, I'm Haley White bringing you a sports update. For the third consecutive contest, FHSU football held its opponents to single digits in scoring. Fort Hays rival Emporia State dropped to 2-3 overall after the Tigers downed the Hornets 19-3 at Lewis Field Stadium on Saturday evening. The 4-2 Tigers held the Hornets to less than 300 yards of total offense during the game. Drew Harvey paced the defense with 13 tackles, followed by Hayden Kreitzer with 10. Tanner Hookman forced the only turnover of the contest, intercepting a midfield pass late in the fourth quarter. Moving to the offensive side of the ball, quarterback Chance Fuller threw for 209 yards, completing 19 of 29 passes. That was below the Tigers' average passing yards of nearly 313 a game, but the all-conference running backs Charles Tigner and DJ Hickman gained a total of 183 yards on the ground. Tigner led with 111 and Hickman added 63 yards to the total offense. It's a big matchup on the road for the Tigers this week as the team faces Pittsburgh State, who was previously unbeaten until number 7 Northwest Missouri State defeated the Gorillas 38-17 on Saturday. Kickoff this week is set for 1 p.m. in Pittsburgh. FHSU women's soccer goalkeeper Megan Neifel was named MIAA Co-Goalkeeper of the Week as she shares this week's honor with Central Missouri's Lindsey Johnson. Neifel earned a win and a tie in a pair of road matches for the Tigers during the last week of play, including a shutout victory against Missouri Western. The only goal she allowed was a penalty kick during the 1-1 match against Northwest Missouri State. Neifel saved a total of 12 shots during the two matches. FHSU begins its 5-game homestand this weekend with a match against nationally ranked Central Missouri on Friday, followed by a Sunday afternoon contest against Missouri Southern.
Junior defender Maritz Walther and freshman goalkeeper Kyron Brown of FHSU men's soccer earned GAC Player of the Week honors for the first time in their careers at Fort Hays. Walther scored 2 of 3 goals for the Tigers during their win against Southern Nazarene. He played all 180 minutes during the week in the games against Southern Nazarene and Oklahoma Baptist, aiding the Tigers to a 3-1 win over the Bison as well. Brown averaged 3 saves per match in the pair of wins. Brown has a save percentage of nearly 78 in the 4 matches he has played for the Tigers. The Tigers head into the road this week with a pair of matches in Oklahoma, beginning with Rogers State on Thursday, followed by a match against Northeastern State on Saturday. FHSU men's golf finished 3rd overall at the Blue Tiger Invitational hosted by Lincoln University. The Tigers topped their highest position of the season, shooting 937 overall. Pete Carney paced the Tigers, turning it in a 228 total after firing off rounds of 72, 77, and 79, where he posted a 6th place finish individually. The Tigers will wrap up their fall season at the Jerry Hernsar Invitational October 21st and 22nd in Duncan, Oklahoma. Teams heading in different directions will face off in Denver on Thursday when the 4-2 Kansas City Chiefs take on the 2-4 Denver Broncos. The Chiefs have lost 2 straight, while the Broncos have won 2 in a row. At this point of the season, it seems as if the AFC West will be in a tight race as the midway point of the season approaches. It's obvious that the turning point for the Broncos and their 2 victories of the season were crafted by the defense. Last week, Denver held the Titans to 204 total yards and posted the 19th shutout in franchise history in the 16-0 win. As the Chiefs continued to prove themselves as an offensive powerhouse with MVP quarterback Patrick Mahomes and all-star receiver Tyreek Hill, Kansas City head coach Andy Reid believes his team will not surrender to a 3rd consecutive loss on Thursday. Reid told the KC Star that this week was a should-win game for the Chiefs. However, it's a matchup of the number 3 team in total offense against the number 4 team in total defense, so it might come down to which side of the ball makes the least amount of mistakes. Kickoff at Empower Field at Mile High is slated for 7:20 p.m. Thursday. Former Jacksonville Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey is headed to the Los Angeles Rams. The Jaguars on Tuesday sent Ramsey to the West Coast for the first-round draft picks in 2020 and 2021 and a 4th rounder in 2021. Ramsey joins 2 former Jaguars on the Rams in defensive end Dante Fowler and quarterback Blake Bortles, as all 3 were taken with top 5 draft picks from 2014 to 2016. The Rams look to cover holes in the secondary with Ramsey after losing 3 straight games and falling to 500 on the season, despite coming off an NFC title and Super Bowl appearance last year. Los Angeles expects Ramsey to be available to play this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. Congratulations are in order for FHSU football's former safety, Doyen Jabowu, who has been drafted to the Dallas Renegades of the newly reformed XFL Professional Football League. Training camps for XFL teams will begin this November. The first regular season games are set to begin in February after the Super Bowl. That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of TMNtv. And as always, to stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com. Until then, remember, roar Tigers!